The beginning of wisdom is first asking, I don't know. That's the reason that we have named this show Generation Y. Why are we here? Where are we going? To question authority, to question our views of the world, whether it's doom and gloom or sunshine and rainbows. And as freedom-loving people of this earth and denying authoritarianism at any cost, we believe that it's our time, it's our turn to speak out. And we are the masters of our destiny, and we will continue to do so. I'm an American. My name is Dan, and we are going to have some interesting conversations on this show, so get ready. Just be warned that this is about experimentation, about implementation of our ideas, and we hope you'll come with us on that journey. Like I said, I'm Dan. I'm from America. This is Generation Y. And my good co-host is Mark from the UK. Thank God for the internet, or we would have never found each other. Twitter has become the Tinder of freedom-loving people. And I will say this much. Mark, why don't you give a quick introduction? And I'm glad that we're here doing this.
Yeah, me too. Welcome to Generation Y. My name is Mark, and I am a moron trying to navigate life. I think it's nice to have someone from the UK and someone from the States, just to see kind of how they compare. I think everybody follows the States in culture, and I think some politicians in America seem to follow Europe for their for their politics. And I just think that everyone's been at each other's throats for a long time, and I think that it's about time that we started just having some decent conversations. And I think that whatever side of the aisle everybody is on, we have a lot more in common than we don't have in common. So yeah, I think we should have some fun. I think we should hold people to account. And I think a lot of people have been have sort of had the questioning pushed out of them. We've had elderly politicians for a while now, and at some point, if you want fair change, it has to be down to the people that have the most to lose, and the people that have the most to lose are not 75-year-old politicians. It's people that have still got half their life to live or more, and it's people with kids or nieces and nephews, and I think we should have some fun.
Absolutely. Listen, just for the fucking three people, including me in the future when I'm, looking over this later. This is going to be rough. Hey man, we're dealing with internet across the world. It's amazing technology. And I just say, be patient with us. Understand that we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants in some ways, but in other ways we're not. And we're going to try to be reasonable, rational, and try to bring you entertainment and levity to a lot of these situations. We are serious men, but serious men can also have fun. So I think the way we're trying to structure this right now, as of now, due to change, because we don't know what the future holds. Maybe the Google overlords and our big tech gods will decide that even this type of discussion, completely reasonable, completely rational, completely sane conversation.
Completely justified.
Yeah. Completely justified. And justified's a good word, honestly, because they are suppressing free speech. We all know this. And there's a really good thing that I think maybe we could get into a little bit later in the conversation. First thing we're going to do for the next about anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes is kind of go over some main news stories that are affecting both communities and our individual communities at large. So let's start with Mark. Mark, what is the first story that you have found interesting that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, sure. So I have a son, and this is not the story, but I have a son, and he came home and he told me that his one of his teachers had told him to not assume people's genders. At the time he was 11, and I kind of thought that was somewhat over the top. Uh, they even use the example, if you see a smaller person than you with pigtails and lipstick, not to assume their gender. And I just thought it's too young to be thinking that and to be putting that into their brains. So when I saw the White House, I think it was called the Transgender Equality Forum or something like that. It was to do with LGBTQ. Obviously, most people don't have a problem, with lesbian, gay, bisexual, whatever. I think nowadays the vast majority of people don't. But I do think when it starts to kind of come out of the White House, not even most of it, but just some of the more obscure things that have become like fashionable rather than an actual issue. And I know that's debatable. And so I saw Jen Psaki. I don't know if you saw this. She stood up on stage and she said, "Hi, my name is Jen, and my pronouns are she, her, and theirs, or something." And then I think it was Condoleezza Rice. I can never tell. This sounds terrible, but I can never, because I don't pay that much attention.
To American background
Yeah,
administrative
I
personnel.
can't tell the difference between the Rices, but I'm pretty sure it was Condoleezza Rice. Anyway,
Condoleezza is the Obama aide,
yeah,
right? She was the director of national intelligence or something to that, or National Security Council. Yeah,
I
I
think it
believe
was.
you're correct. I believe you're
Yeah,
correct.
I think it was her, and she did the same. They had a bunch of kids on, and I have to be honest, like it broke my heart. There were kids that were 15, and I thought they were girls. Like they looked like young 13-year-old girls, and then they were saying, "Oh, thank you so much to the president and the White House, to allow people uh, to finally take their medication to prevent them going through puberty." And I mean, obviously, from what I understand, it's more of a state by state thing because these people have already been doing it. So this young lady, I don't know, born a dude, is now a lady, was on national TV, international TV, and just saying thank you for ruining my body, so that I can keep up with the latest crazes. Because I genuinely believe that's what it is. Just my personal opinion. But I do think that gender dysphoria, or certainly body dysphoria, is real, and I see no reason that gender dysphoria couldn't be real. I just don't think it's in the numbers that they say. I mean, like I know in this country, it went up 14,000% between
Yeah.
2010 and 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's when you see in South Park when there was an episode where they were all singing because at the time there was that, I can't remember what it was, some TV series where everybody sung everywhere and it was all like a
Right.
musical from high school, and they were kind of ridiculing the fact that kids will just pick up anything that's like in the lexicon, and they'll just take that role on. But then when they leave school and they're not constantly around other people, then they're just brokenhearted. Like there's so many people online, so many, especially girls. I think it's something like 75 or 78% of people that go through surgery, at least half surgery, are female. And I see a lot of girls online, and they've got voices as deep as mine. I mean, they look like women again because they stopped taking their meds and whatnot. But apparently, like what happens with the voice is almost irreversible.
Right.
And it's heartbreaking because they say almost everything that we think, which is, I did it because I kind of got sucked into a forum. You know, this one girl I'm thinking of, she said, I was on MySpace, and, I just kind of felt like I was one of them. And to be one of them, I kind of needed to push it a bit further. And then you have other people that thought that because they were lesbian, that basically meant, that now that they were actually trans. And I just think that we're going way, way too far, way too far. And now it's coming out of the what I think the biggest thing for me is America is still number one. I know people say that China's, obviously going to have something to say about that. We'll see.
Well, they
But
don't. They will not let that happen in their country. Definitely.
but I just thought, like, to see it coming out of the White House, it just gives it complete credence and value. And if you thought it was bad before, well, geez, like, you try telling your teacher that you think what they're doing is bad for your kid at their age. Now that the White House are talking about it, from the White House stand.
There's something that, at least like in respect to the United States, I don't know about the UK. The Constitution was not designed for majority rule. It was designed to protect the individual, the minority rule, the minority from being oppressed, or whatever term you want to use, being forced to do things that the majority wants to do. That's why we have this really power struggle. Every generation goes through it, of whether it's political or ideological. The transgender issue for me, and I think Abigail Schreier wrote a book called Irreversible Damage. I read it. I'm not going to quote too many things. I don't have a photographic memory, unfortunately. Women, young girls, men act through aggression in a different way, through violence. That's of young men. The age that human beings are most violent is actually 3 years old. Around that age, 2 to 3 years old, is the most violent that usually people are, which is kind of insane to think about it. But think about your 2 or 3 year old. You take a toy from them, they hit you, they throw stuff, they're screaming, basically Antifa. It's it's something that I think a lot of people have been worried about. And what we do is we take these, which are rare, generally true gender dysphoria. Someone like Blair White, who is a famous, center right, maybe just a center person. I wouldn't even consider her right wing. She did vote for Trump, but whatever. That, like, Trump is not a conservative. Like, I don't care what anyone says, he's not. That's all propaganda from the left wing media. The transgender issue to me is very simple. And I will explain this. The United States is very complicated legally, because California, at the age of 15, I believe it's 15, you can go see a therapist without parental approval. So you can just go get one. And they are practicing gender affirming care, which is whatever the patient deems is true, that the psychologist has to affirm or reaffirm that as their truth. That I believe it goes down to as far as medication. Like, they can get medications.
So who gets to make the decision to do that? Is that the school?
No, the child. So the child, it's 15-year-old, can actually make an independent decision. Now, is that bad? Because there are abusive parents, there are bad parents, and there are children that may need to seek psychological treatment and they're not allowed to, due to religious and or other reasons, political reasons, whatever. My problem is not that them having the right to go to a psychologist. My problem is with the practice of gender affirming and not challenging and not questioning, not asking why they feel this way or how did they become to feel this way. And also the shortened period where you have to at least have psychiatric care of a person. Like, there used to be kind of like before surgery for sexual reassignment, also known as SRS in the States, they had to have concrete years of like documentation, evidence, proof, because you go through something with so life-changing, something that you're worried about. You should really make sure that it's the right decision for that person, and that should be the responsibility of the doctor, and to make sure that this person is not making a decision that is going to possibly hurt them psychologically forever. So it's much like, for women in the United States, they can't get like the military, for example. This is maybe more of a personal example, but I have a friend, she wanted to get her stuff fixed. She wanted to be fixed. She wanted to be, neutered virtually, right? Like, no
like a
babies.
vasectomy, but for women.
Right, Everett. I think it's a hysterectomy, if I believe.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I'm a doctor. My my medical school was Google. Thank you, Google. She couldn't do it until she was 28. Under the military, they said you can't do it until you're 28 because you don't know who you're going to meet between now and then, or what's going to happen, or how life is going to go. And she's, the typical young women thing. I don't want to ruin my body. I don't want to lose my freedom. I don't want to, have the responsibility of a child. Those those are serious things that you should be asking. If you're asking those questions to me, I'm like, that's a responsible person going, I'm not ready. I want to take my time. I want to make sure or whatever. But then removing one of the most important physiological processes of a human being is to produce children. Once you remove that, that could be very psychologically damning. Same thing with why doing SRS could be considered dangerous. And if I believe personally, I don't know why the standard isn't 25. We know your full physical development, full mental development. They say you're pretty much your brain is the way it's going to be at 25. We should set a standard. And if there could always be exceptions, I just don't believe in telling people what they can and can't do, but to protect children at the minimum 18, at the minimum.
See, for me, I do believe in telling children what they can and can't do.
No, it's not that I don't believe. No, I think I'm telling
I know.
Yeah, it's not that children don't need to be told what to do. It's about who's telling them. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it the parents involved in this decision? And that doesn't mean that's okay, though, because we need authoritative figures like psychologists, like psychiatrists, doctors to say, I think you're kind of brainwashing your kid.
Yeah.
I'm worried I'm concerned that you're pushing ideology on your child. But see,
100%.
Abigail Schreier details in her book, which is how our institutions, and I think this is why we kind of started Generation Y, our institutions can't be trusted. They have been co-opted by these extreme ideologues that have no connection to any basis in reality. And if you speak against the machine, like this, we were talking earlier about this woman I saw on Twitter last night. You see, they eat you alive. They will strip you of your license. They will remove your ability to practice medicine. They are literally obliterating the people. How is this science? How is this medicine? This is not medicine. This is zealotry. This is religion. This is not okay.
Yeah.
And this is the issue. And the thing is, I don't give a shit if Demi Lovato is they, them, fucking you name it. I don't care. I don't care what they call themselves. It doesn't have an effect on me or my life or my community, whatever. I believe she has the right to say what she wants to say. But as a parent, you need to take that responsibility and say, I want, I see a lot of forming going on, child forming, personally. I watched, did you see the HBO documentary Trans Kids or Trans something?
I might have. I'm not
Dude,
sure.
it's terrifying. It is, this kid must be 5. My God. And then you get one of the mothers, and it's always women. It's never guys. It's always the women. Because feminism, this is where it comes from. Feminism. It's the radical feminists that are trying to destroy what femininity is and what a woman is. And I really do believe that.
I just want to push back a tiny bit on that, and it kind of pains me to do so, but you'll know as well as me that I don't know what to call them, but the people that are pushing this thing,
third wave feminism. That's
what.
Well,
hold on, because I just want to. There's someone that I listen to, and she would probably consider herself to be a second wave feminist.
Sure.
And so they call her a TERF, as I'm sure you know.
Trans exclusionary radical feminists. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, for example, recently they were protesting near me about this sort of thing in London, and there was probably 40 people there, and there were people throwing things at them, and I mean so these feminists, and I do differentiate the different wave of feminists. but they're just as under attack as everybody else is. You know, they're trying, if only for women. They don't really care about men. I mean, that's the one thing that you have to put up with, is that they are going to have a go at men, because they'll say, you know, we've still got men entering our spaces. And what they mean by that is men that have transitioned over.
Biological
Right.
men.
Right. And so, yeah, they're not doing it for humanity as such necessarily. Some of them might be.
Okay.
You know, they're still doing it for women, but I just want to say that it's not. It might have sparked from that type of thing, but I don't think it's purely like feminists have started this whole thing.
Fair enough. I'll say this. Feminism is equality between men and women. I believe in that. Like most rational, normal, everyday people believe in that. But the problem is, once we achieved it, it wasn't good enough. It's the same thing with the Black Lives Matter movement. It's like, well, yeah, like you look at the Civil Rights Act, like we get freedom of equality, like freedom, like, okay, like we're sorry, we messed up. We're going to do affirmative action and these diversity initiatives to try to get black people back on track. We screwed up. And then what happened once we passed 64, 67, which was a majority Senate for the Republicans? The Republicans passed the 64 and 67 Civil Rights Act. They're the ones. Lyndon B. Johnson gets all the credit because of, you know, being a Democrat, but it was controlled by the Republicans. Republicans always been on the right side of history. But you see, they can't. What does a true conservative want? To be left the fuck alone.
Yeah.
What do the feminists? Every single aspect of your life needs to be controlled down to the minutia. So you're seeing it ever prevailing in this dark way because they've lost their identity, which is, you're a woman. That's what feminism is. I'm a man.
Yeah.
We are equal. They won. Civil rights, they won. So they're manufacturing hatred. They're manufacturing the same. That's why second wave feminists, if you're going to tell me that you think women don't get paid the same to men, you're a liar. You're a liar. You're a damn liar. And I can, it's not 70 cents on the, they have done so many studies. It's just like Jordan Peterson details this perfectly. And listen, I recommend go look up Jordan Peterson and watch him talk about the wage gap, or go look at plenty of people. Thomas Sowell, it's all there.
I mean, for one, it's illegal.
It is. We're there. Okay, we know they're lying. They're creating. They're ossificating. This is politics. This is what they do.
Fiddling the statistics.
So I think we could both agree, because I think we should move on to at least one more story, because we have been going.
100%.
And if this, one story, like we said, people were figuring it out. So stay with us, please. I believe when it comes to children, we should protect them at all costs. We should not be sexualizing children. We should not be introducing. It's not that we shouldn't introduce ideas, but the system should not be introducing them. It should be parents. It should be slow, and progression is one step at a time, not fucking taking a rocket ship to the end of time and saying, oops.
Where does this end?
It doesn't. That's the thing. It doesn't for them. It's an infinity of oppression and obligation to the cause. And when they have no, it's like this. It's like climate change. No shit is happening. Yeah, we can't stop it because we're just little blips on this fucking planet that's been here for 4.5 billion years. Yeah.
Let's not go down that one, man. I think that's too deep for today.
I'm just saying. Like, I'm not saying it's not an issue. But if you are a sane person, think we can control the planet, you're insane. Like, that's like saying, oh my God, we're spinning too fast. We're going at 28,000 miles an hour through the space. Yeah, dude, we can't stop it. I don't know what you want to do. Like, it's happening. Okay. Like,
especially not in the amount of time, you know, when they say like, oh, we need to do it in 6 years, 8 years, 10 years. How the hell are we going to be able to affect the planet?
Who's tracking this crap? Like, how do you know? You know,
I'm not saying we shouldn't try, but I mean, like, I just think you're not allowed to ask about stuff like that. Again, that's just another topic where you're not allowed to ask why.
Right.
You can't ask I think details.
Maybe that can be our next episode. We can have a discussion on that. But I do think there's macro and micro causes. And pretending that we can affect macro all the time, I think that's disingenuous. I think micro cause we can fix water systems and not pollute and
Yeah.
don't deforest and all these things that are great. Like we should do those things. But people act like deforestation is a bad thing. Why don't you go ask California or Oregon or Washington State if deforestation is a bad thing? If they didn't have as many, you don't have to like knock down every tree. You don't have to do that. But deforestation can be sometimes a good thing. Anyway,
it's
do you have any final thoughts on this this first news story topic?
The only thing I was going to say was what you were saying with regards to the left-wing media were, basically releasing propaganda. Maybe some people might watch this one day that think, oh, somebody else that thinks that it's all propaganda. I'm telling you, I was one of those people. In 2016, they turned off Fox News and stuff like that. And so, because America has such a massive impact on the rest of the world with culture, we talked before about cost of living, like, Joe Biden has increased my cost of living.
No, he saved us 16 cents. He saved us 16 cents for the 4th of July.
Cents.
Don't you lie on my president. Okay?
I'm sorry. But
yesterday was July 4th. Don't lie on my president.
I'll take it back. I'm sorry. But because of that, you do have to watch it. And I did watch CNN for probably like 9 months. And it just was crazy. Like, I couldn't believe, to begin with, I was like, okay, it's like another news station. They've got their biases and blah, blah, blah. But after a while, it was just the same thing. Like, every day, you could turn it on at any time of the day.
It's like Fox Now.
There are so many people. For people watching this, there are highly intelligent left-wing people that have been coming out for the last 2 years, I would say, 2.5 years, and fully admitting, that this thing is way out of control, that there is an enormous left-wing bias. And so I'm not trying to offend anyone that is like ideologically left-wing. I have absolutely nothing against you. I might disagree with you in certain areas, but as long as you're not insane, like, then, you do you. But in terms of people that just think that people say that and don't really have anything to follow it up or to back it up, there are intelligent people. Brett Weinstein, I could think of for one.
Oh, Brett, and Eric, Douglas Murray, Jordan Peterson.
He's a conservative, but yeah.
Oh, no, hold on. Douglas Murray is an old school liberal. Like, he is that old school liberal. That's what I'm saying. This is what we have to do. We have, and this is my belief before we get to the next story, take back the language. We will not give up the language to the enemy. The enemy is trying to destroy language. You destroy language. You destroy meaning. You destroy discipline. You destroy everything. Language is the only way we can communicate. And calling Douglas Murray a conservative, in my opinion, is not wrong, but because conservative even has been co-opted. Liberal has been co-opted. Left wing, right wing, all of it's junk. There's one group of people, truth seekers, questioners, people who are not going to sit there and just listen to the drone on to the CNN. Russia is coming for your children, and Donald Trump is the spy that is going to. Look, are you fucking insane? Are you insane? We have Joe Biden, who has way more documented evidence, like on a mountain upon mountains of evidence that points to him being a racist, a misogynist, a possible sexual assaulter, a possible this, that, but they all hide it because they don't want to admit that they're part of the problem.
Definitely racist and career politician. Let's move on, man. Let's go to another.
So something that kind of caught my interest this past week, there's a lot, okay? There's a lot that happened this weekend, but I think something that really made me, whoa, this is interesting. So I am originally from Massachusetts. Massachusetts. I grew up there and lived there till I was 14. Actually, I was in a cult. We can talk about that another time. It started by eugenicists and bull crap way back then. The Harvard professor started it. We can talk about that another time. I was only in for the year, just to be forewarned. But Massachusetts, just to set the stage. Massachusetts, you can smoke pot. You can smoke pot. That's pretty much the only legal thing you can do there. It's like so many laws. The taxes are ridiculous. In 2000, 3 or whatever. I believe the taxes in this little rural town with 1,000 people were like 10%, which is a lot in the United States, very high. So I don't know the UK. You guys got to pay for all that stuff. So like I don't know how you guys pay for it, but that's high. Also, with parental consent, you can marry a 12-year-old little girl, but and with parental consent, you can marry a 15-year-old boy. That confused me. Like, why is there a difference between men and women? Because you know what they think? Because the sickos say that girls mature faster than boys mentally. So technically, a 12-year-old is really the equivalent. These people are insane. You should not be banging 12-year-olds, and you should not be marrying them. Like, if there's like 50 people left on Earth, you should still wait till they're like 15 or so. I don't know. Like I get it. Like we got to repopulate, but bro,
Don't dig a
like
hole, man.
you give it no, but like if there's 50 people, like give it time at least. Let this person become who they need to be. 11 arrested. Okay. In a standoff in Wakefield, Massachusetts on I-95, which is like one of the largest interstates in the United States. Very long. Goes basically from Maine. I'm not going to say exactly, but like from Maine to Florida. You can get to the tip of Florida from I-95. They were known as they were gun rights people or something to that effect, but they were known as the Rising Moors, I think is their name. It's kind of hard to find all this stuff because the troopers recovered 3 AR-15s, 2 pistols, a bolt-action rifle, a shotgun, and a short barrel rifle from 11 people. The group refers to itself as a militia and said they adhere to the Moorish sovereign ideology. So as far as the little research I've been able to do and find out, they are black separatists, black supremacists, Nation of Islam. They work with them directly or have the same ideological structure. Nation of Islam is Malcolm X and Louis Farrakhan, who is a huge anti-Semite and does believe in the destruction of Israel. Like most Islamic people probably do not want them to exist as a free state, which we don't need to talk about the, craziness over there. I think everyone's kind of wrong in some ways. But the Moorish Sovereign Citizen Movement is a collection of independent organizations and individuals that emerged in the 1990s as an offshoot to the anti-government sovereign citizens movement. People in the movement believe individual citizens hold sovereignty over and are independent of the authority of federal and state governments. So that's kind of like just a general legalization of some of their beliefs. I'm not super familiar. It just really caught my attention because of the gun issues that we have in America. A lot of people try to take AR-15s. A lot of people listen. The weapons aren't dangerous. The people who use them are. Can we just be honest and be adults about this? Like, people are bad. That's where I'm at with that. But
what does AR stand for in AR-15?
Armalite. Armalite does not stand for assault rifle, people. Yes, Armalite, and I think that should be common knowledge. And it is the most versatile and functional self-defense weapon on the market. 100%. 100%. There is nothing.
For any of the Brits watching this that obviously could never do that, how much would it cost you to buy a bare bones, no optional extras?
$600.
So that's £400, £450.
Right.
Wow.
That's not like, top tier shit, but yeah, it will fire.
Yeah.
It'll get it done. Go to a gun show and you could probably get one for around like $600, $800. Brand new. I mean, it's $600 to $800, but like they're out there. You can buy them at Walmart. Until recently, Walmart got rid of them because they're left-wing nut jobs. Like they run them. But I was interested by this because they were doing, like, I heard the guy, he did some speeches, like he was live streaming to YouTube and such. One of the leaders, I would imagine he was the leader by his authoritative stance and like the way he was talking. He was stating that he is following Supreme Court decisions of basically like you have the freedom to move through a state as long as you don't stop. So like you can be armed as long as you don't stop and cause panic or something, right? Like you don't cause a big disruption. So they had they had all their vehicles and they had a giant gas tank that they were pulling, and they would stop on the side of the road and fill up their cars so that they didn't have to stop in a town or whatever.
Right.
And someone called the police, and we know the rest from there. They all got arrested, which is I personally disagree with. I don't agree with their views. I don't agree. I think they're reprehensible. I think it's, if there really are black separatists, black supremacists, and they are supporters of Nation of Islam, like I kind of view that like they're not my type of people.
Mhm.
But we have to be able to agree on certain things. In America, at least, they did nothing to me that would be wrong. I don't care if you think fear dictates what I can and cannot do. Well, that's where I disagree with people. I don't care it's the same thing when you talk about, like, let's say the typical trope that they say, young black men are dangerous. That to me is wrong. I don't agree with that. I will not be afraid of someone because they're a black man. Like, that's stupid to me. I won't be just afraid of them because of that. Now, if they have other identifying, maybe markers, whatever, like I might be like, oh, make me a little hesitant. Like, I'm not going to go over and high five the guy, maybe like, I think if I was a black dude in the South and I saw a bunch of dudes with like KKK hoods, probably would go the other way. Right. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but I would if I was black and like wherever you are. If I see a dude that says, if I see a dude that's wearing a shirt that says fuck black people and I'm black, I'm not going to talk to him because I don't think we're going to probably get along. And it's nothing for me it's not even racism. That's just being smart. Like, it's just to me. Like, it's just being intelligent. So these guys basically all got arrested for at least just having their Second Amendment. So Massachusetts doesn't allow these things. And this is what we have in the United States. And I think the bigger, more umbrella that I'm trying to talk about is how our rights are already gone. We just want to play that they're not.
Are they though? I don't think they're gone, but I think you're on very, very shaky ground. And the one thing I
don't know, man. It's
like, one thing that I think some Americans might not fully understand is that they're not gone until they're gone. And that sounds really obvious, but with us, we had it wasn't, we never had like the huge gun culture. And I think it's just partly because we didn't really have the land. You kind of need a lot of land to have a gun range. And, obviously you have that in the States. But it was perfectly legal to own a handgun and, semi-automatic rifles and stuff like that. And then we had one school shooting, which was so we had two sort of mass shootings. One was a school where a dude, he was, I think he was like 22 or something. So he wasn't, and this was a primary school. So that's like K through 11. And he basically went in and he shot some children. And it was terrible. And, and it was. And then I would say probably a year after that or two, a guy basically went, I can't remember the exact details, but again, a young man went and shot several people in a neighborhood. And within about a year of that, they literally implemented it wasn't even we talked about this before, it wasn't even a buyback, it was just a mandatory give back.
Yeah.
And so if you were in a coma in the UK in 1996 and then you woke up in 1998, you one day you could have guns and you could defend yourself, and then one day you couldn't. So some people kind of think, well, it's going to be years, they'll do a bit here and a bit there and a bit there. That's not true. Like with us, with New Zealand, with Australia, it was literally like over a period of a month that people went from being allowed to have guns to having to jump through hoops to have stuff. Because we can still have some guns. You can have, we talked about before, shotguns, single shot rifles and stuff like that. And you can have others, but you need like a super, super license that's really difficult to get.
Yep.
Yeah.
It must have had majority support. For this to be able to take place, it must have had like a large percentage of like 70% or more to give up that.
Well, yeah, so there were two parts to it. One went through under a conservative government.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't even matter. The words are meaningless.
No,
yeah.
It really doesn't. Like, you get career politicians playing for their futures, and they know that they'll be able to have guns anyway.
Well,
and then
they don't need guns. They got guards and they got
exactly.
millions of dollars. And freaking.
And then the one that finalized it was Tony Blair. Like he came in 1997 and he basically finished it off. Like I think the first one they tried to kind of get away with it by kind of banning like one type.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Tony Blair came in, he was like, no, and just did a clean sweep.
So the thing is this. This is what makes the United States so difficult for authoritarians. I mean, it's very hard because of our balance and powers and checks. I'm not saying it's perfect. Like, I believe we need a complete reformation of the police and our federal government, like complete restructuring. That video Tulsi Gabbard did. Oh, we're going to talk about that quickly.
Yeah.
Out next. I think we should actually start the conversation about that a little bit, like in our main conversation, because we're at 40 minutes, so we do need to kind of push it along, as they say, because this is a perfect conversation to lead into what we're going to be talking about next. There is some serious, like Massachusetts or New York City. You can't own a gun. Like, dude, you can't. Like, it's so hard to get a gun. It's impossible. I saw a guy on Twitter. He found a bullet on the ground. A bullet, unfired. He's like, will I get in trouble if I have this? For having one round. Like, he was that concerned. Like, and he's got a lot of followers, like, you know, more than I definitely do. I got like 100 or whatever. He's got like 50,000. He's like, would I get in trouble? Like, should I put it back? Is this a crime scene? For one freaking bullet. Dude, you go up to Wyoming, you find rounds all over the place. They're literally just like falling all over. Like, oh my God, there's so many rounds. There's so many rounds everywhere. No one cares. You know, like, guys, it's not uncommon in Wyoming at 6 a.m. to be in a Starbucks, a guy have an AK-47, an Uzi, and a handgun all at the same time with a big vest, like with rounds. And he's like, hey, can I get a Vente, please? Yeah, sure. No problem, sir. Hey, that's a nice Desert Eagle you got there. Yeah, it's 50 cal, man. I'm just here to fuck shit up and have a good day, man. You're like, that's like, it's crazy. It's amazing. Like, 16-year-olds can open carry in Wyoming. Doesn't matter. Like, handgun on their hip in a Walmart. They don't even need to have their license. They cannot have their license and they can have a gun. Like, and I mean driver's license.
Yeah.
They can drive at like 13 if you live on a farm or whatever. They can drive to school. Like, it's pretty cool place. But they are coming for our guns. Like, they are. Like, oh my God. Like, I don't think people realize the thing about Americans, though, is we say I really hope people are going to be like, from my cold, dead hands. And I'm telling you, there are people that believe that hard. Do you know how like Antifa will basically die for what they believe in?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, they're crazy. Like, they're insane people. There are people with guns they believe that hard. They believe that true. And some people say that makes them dangerous. I don't think so. Because the thing is this, don't take their guns.
Yeah.
And this is why I believe the police have lost trust from everybody. Nobody supports the police anymore because the right was always blue lives matter, dude. Blue lives matter. Yeah. And now, after the lockdowns and the oppression and the completely stripping of people's rights to practice religion freely, and like the beginning of the pandemic, all states were different, but there was a general, like, police are kind of being flipped on their head because they're like, we don't get support from the right anymore. They have no foundation.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's a good thing to me because that lets me know that they have to change. Yeah. And if they don't, it's over for them.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they should. I can't remember we talked about this particular thing, but I feel like they should just replace all police with sheriffs.
It's a tough thing. The thing is this. Do I need someone to govern my freedom? Let's just get into the main topic, why we're here, what we're doing. Do I need YouTube to tell me what I can and cannot say? Do I need them to be there to do that? No, they're there to protect their self-vested interest. It's the same thing with police. They're there to protect the self-vested interest of the state, of the city, of whatever. It doesn't matter. The government, like, it's all the same. They are there to protect their interests, not yours. There's only a couple of things the government is really good at, okay? Is putting... Did we lose you for a second? Can you hear me?
I lost you for about 2 seconds.
Okay, no problem. Sorry. But like, what I'm saying is the government is really good at two things: taking your money, spending it poorly, right? Those are kind of together in my mind. Taking your money and spending it poorly. And what? Taking shit, I had it.
Rights?
No, not taking rights. No, because they can try to do that. That's hard for them. That's harder for them than it probably should be even harder. Or infringing on your rights. Let's say that. Fine.
Yeah.
I had it. You know, the blip.
It's all right.
On a roll.
It'll come
But
back. It'll come back.
there is the government's really good at taking your money and then at gunpoint making you do
Yeah.
everything. It's always at gunpoint. I don't care what anyone says. Our president, Joe Biden, said, "You think you're going to be able to take on the military with AR-15? We got nukes and jets, bro. We will blow you sky high." And you're like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong, but jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You're like, but guess what? Then let me have my AR-15, you freaking
Yeah.
idiot. If
What
it
you got
really
to worry
doesn't
about?
matter. Yeah, because guess what? You can't put a missile on a street corner. You can't put a miss, and you could try, sure, whatever, but you know, like I don't know, man. I'm telling you, these are the things that we have to fight back, and we need to be wary of movements that are trying to be violent in nature. But when Tulsi Gabbard
Absolutely.
read the preamble, and you're like, oh shit, the preamble to the you're like, oh my god, they literally were anarchists in a way. They were like, if you think your government is screwing you over and they are no longer functioning the way you deem fit as a society, you have the right to reform and or abolish. Abolish has been co-opted by the left. What is abolishment? Abolishment is restructure, reorganizing, or elimination thereof. In my mind, I'm not saying that's literal definition, just making it up right there, but that is what we need to do. We don't need police to tell me to not drive fast. If I drive fast and I kill a family, it's awful. I was going to do it with or without police because these things still happen. Police are not, they are not there to protect and serve. They're there to respond to crime and or accident.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I'm not afraid of a firefighter. If my house is on fire, but
yeah.
saying that they're there to protect and serve, they are there to what? To save my house, yes, but they're not there for me. They're there for everybody, for the community. And it's good that they're coming in to save a person's home. Thank you. But if I think the firefighter should be able to then to arrest me because I left my ramen noodles on the stove for too long and it caused a fire, I think that's kind of fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
Kind
I
of
mean,
fucking gay.
like I hear a lot of a lot of people's perspectives from the anarchist point of view and the libertarian point of view, and I know you hold some of that with the police.
Some.
Yeah. I do think that the police have an incredibly difficult job. Just listen, just hear me out. I think the police have a very, very difficult job, and I think that that's why they need to be redone. Because at the moment, we in both of our countries have got into a position where the police are stuck between the local politician, who obviously, especially in this day and age, they seem to have their biases. So, for example, we've seen times in America where, like, what's her name? Lori Lightfoot in Chicago, mayor of Chicago. Mayor? Yeah. And she has obviously told her police force in Chicago to essentially just don't shoot black people. And listen, that sounds great. Like, in theory, we don't want to shoot anyone. But recently on the news, we saw a gentleman coming out of his door with a gun to shoot his wife. And there was a Chicago policeman coming up this. The Chicago policeman was at the door. As he saw the guy come out with the gun, he ran away.
Okay.
He ran away. And that's all over the news. Hold on. Just hear me out 1 second. So you did have a couple of people reporting that and sort of saying, like, what do we do? I mean, like, if the police are just going to run away, like, what's the point? So I feel like the police have a tough job because they're stuck between politicians and criminals, basically. And I would say normal people that don't cause problems are often the ones paying the price, you know, in that sort of situation. But I genuinely do feel sorry for the police. I do think, like, Tim Pool goes a little bit too far with what he says.
Okay, but let's be objective. Let's be reasonable. Let's take emotion out of this. For me personally, I'm going to take my emotion out of this the best I can.
Yeah.
The only reason the police can do what they do is because we have our rights have been stripped away from us of self-governance and self-responsibility. People in these cities cannot own firearms. They cannot defend themselves. So they are their lambs to the slaughter.
Yes.
Okay. Which creates an environment that is inhospitable to a productive quality life. They have no recourse. If you are a young person with a gun and you do it using it for protection, you will go to jail, just like the dirtbag criminal that was trying to kill your mother. And the police are the one who arrest them. The police don't write the laws, no. But I think bearing no responsibility for your actions just because you're told to do something is evil.
Yeah, I get it. Like those good men that stand by and do nothing,
But the
etc.
thing is, are they in a tough position because of what? Because of what? Why are they in their position? Let's generation. Why are the police in such a tough position? Because they keep taking away our responsibility and giving it to the police, and they keep taking away our self responsibility from all these things and giving it to the police, giving them more power, more authority, and now all the weight falls on these guys' shoulders. And if I don't trust them to care more about me than myself or my family, I don't trust them to care more about me or my family or my property or I believe if you are breaking into someone's home, you have deemed yourself to not be worthy of living.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to break into my private property while I am home and sleep with my wife and kids in there, I think you've lost the right to life.
What happens if the guy that does that has mental illness and
Not my
doesn't know what he's
problem.
doing?
Not
Not
my
your
problem.
problem.
No, I am not responsible for another individual mental health or whatever. Now, should I give them good warning and cause? Sir, listen, it's called PID, positively identify your target. Okay? You have to positively identify. So, because it happens in the United States sometimes where kid comes home late, parents don't know who it is. They don't know they thought he was asleep and they shoot their kid. It's happened. It's awful. It is awful. But we have given such leniency to police officers in the United States. We basically say, well, listen, I was a police officer in the military. Well, officer perception matters. Absolutely it does. But why doesn't my perception matter? Why does my perception as a civilian not matter? If I feel like you're trying to hurt me or harm me, whether you're a police officer or not, why do I not have the right to defend myself?
But what happens if see, I think that point of view worked really well if everybody is as logical as you. If you have somebody that is a paranoid schizophrenic and they literally think the bushes at the end of their driveway are trying to kill them, that's dangerous. Like if my son is coming home from school and he thinks that my son is the devil.
That is true. Listen, it's not, I should have my rights infringed upon because there's a psycho out there. Doesn't make sense to me. It's like, do you think that your kid should be forced to be a girl because the authorities say so? You're infringing on his ability of free expression, of his free mind, just because the police to me are not bad guys, but they're bad actors. And it's not because they're bad people. It's that they don't really think about the role they're playing. They don't really want to think about the role they're playing. They have a family to care for. And at the end of the day, when you have somebody that cares more, and this is impossible to have, you need a robot.
Yeah.
When someone cares more for themselves than the thing they're responding to.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying that's not okay. I'm just saying it's natural that they're going to take that guy out. And it's like, okay, it's a schizophrenic guy. What did we used to do? And maybe it's something we could look into. Why don't we build better mental health facilities and actually get these people treatment, get them off the streets? It's not the guns the issue. It's the mental health crisis is the issue. It's like all these things. Like I think it's like, but we want to play this game with the government that they are our friend, and they're not to me.
No,
personally.
absolutely. I think I think that maybe like 20%, and I'm probably being generous, and there are probably a lot of people laughing at me when they hear that. I probably think 20% of politicians go into it to make the world a better place. How many of those people get corrupted once they get in and they see what they can do? Who knows what the actual figure is at the end of that? But yeah, I mean that's probably why I would say that I couldn't personally be an anarchist, even though I respect people's rights to be an anarchist.
Mhm.
But I just think that like what we've just talked about, we've sort of come to that conclusion that we have to help people with mental health. And part of that, yeah, sometimes it can involve charity and stuff like that, but
Yes.
it's not always going to involve that. There are going to be times where, you can't rely on charity.
Well, the thing is, I agree that it's not relying on charity, but relying on solely on government as well is also just as stupid,
Absolutely.
to me. But
Absolutely.
the thing is, how did we get where the hell we are today?
Because
We did not
government
get.
just keeps growing and growing and
No, no,
growing
no,
and
no, no.
growing.
You're missing my point. I'm talking as a civilization, as a people, as human beings, how we had to do it through cooperation. Cooperation. We had to create social agreements,
Yeah.
whether it's tribes. Hey, dude, this season you'll farm here, and then we'll hunt over here, or whatever. Yes, people died in the process because that is human nature. It's okay. Listen, if people think like like my friend, when we were serving in the military, he was a supporter of the Patriot Act, which basically is mass surveillance on the American people. And I
Yeah.
said to him, or excuse me, he asked me, he goes, okay, if my neighbor was building an explosive device, right, and he ended up, basically the FBI was able to stop him or whatever, because the FBI is American, they only focus on America, okay, and the CIA focuses on the outside the world. The CIA is not supposed to mess with any Americans. They're only foreign nations. That's
Right.
true.
Right.
So their main responsibility. Shit, where was I? I'm sorry. My brain fried for a second.
FBI and
Before
CIA.
that,
You were
before
talking
that.
about your friend.
Oh, my friend, and he goes like, they stopped the guy. Isn't that a good thing? And I go, oh, I'd be happy, but no, it's not a good thing. And he's like, what? He's like, so you think my family should be put at danger for the Fourth Amendment? And I'm like, yep, I sure do. Because, Yeonmi Park, and we've talked about this before, freedom is painful. It's dangerous. It's devastating. It's beautiful. It's every emotion, but you're allowed to have those emotions. You're allowed to have feelings. In North Korea, they don't even know what love is. It doesn't exist. There is only love for the great leader.
Yeah.
Like that is not freedom. And then when she went to her long journey, go look it up. Jordan Peterson has a great one with her. Lex Friedman does. Tim Pool on Timcast IRL has a good interview with her. It was the most painful thing she had ever experienced in her life was freedom. And we need to stop being afraid of freedom. We need to stop giving up our freedom for security. Because as Benjamin Franklin says, you deserve neither. If you give up your freedom for security, you deserve neither. And the thing is, our founding fathers in America, when we had to,
Mhm.
rebuke the divine monarchy, we did not want that for the future of our nation,
God
which we
save the
can
Queen.
just, God save the Queen. Honestly, God save the Queen. Yes, I believe. I hope she has a very long, fruitful life, longer, or, I
I
mean, I
think
think
she
we all
has.
know
Yeah. Yeah.
she has a few years. She has a few
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I we rebuke divine right because the thing is this: the monarchy states that the divine is with her. Under our constitution and our beliefs, the divine is within everybody. From your
Yeah.
creator, we are all designed and created to be free, to be the ability to live our lives the way we see fit. And we all have God in us. We all are our own gods, and our own destinies are controlled. And I just think the police play a role in denying us that right, because they become the moral authoritarians of our world, our leaders, and we've entrusted these people, and we want just such a good leader that we took Trump. Like, seriously, we took a celebrity that was willing to say, fuck you, New York Times. Fuck you, Nancy Pelosi. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And we took him because he was the only guy worth willing to say it. And I don't know if that's a good thing, but I believe he's the tremor, not the earthquake. He was the dam, and then now it's busting open or whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just saying I love freedom. I love this crap, and I will die for freedom. I will die. I will lay my life down, and I'm serious. I will lay my life down for my brothers and sisters in this country. I love them that much. It's not the flag, but it's what it represents. That's why we have symbology. It's like the Queen for you. The Queen represents something greater and a unification of the nation. That's okay. And that's good. Doesn't mean I agree with the monarchy system, but still, like it's good.
I mean, yeah, I think obviously I was kind of joking, but I mean, I think that most people from abroad don't really understand how it works. Like we've spoken before about how I heard Ian Crossland saying that the Queen had power over Australia and Canada. And obviously, she doesn't.
Which is why I'm glad to have you on. We can educate some of these dumb Americans who are very homogenous in their culture and not knowing what else is outside.
Right. It's a big country. I understand that. But, and like other things like the Commonwealth are just people that we've kept in, whereas actually I think it's like 55% of them have applied to come in the last 50 years. Just because it's beneficial for them. Like, again, we spoke about before, if you're a small island in the Caribbean and you have a hurricane run over you, it'll be quite nice to get a little bit of money to help you rebuild from the Brits and to have the Royal Navy come along and save.
So would you view that the British government is more of a function of charity then?
It definitely is to a degree. It sounds terrible to say that, but it is to a degree. And I'm sure it's mutually beneficial, but I don't think it's particularly mutually beneficial. I mean, I think it's
I'm saying though, but like they absolutely are doing a charitable thing. Like we're going to come help you because you're people. We want to help you. Like that's basically like what is a island of a few thousand people really going to be able to give them?
Right.
Maybe some private land so that they can like dock ships or whatever, build a little base. Like that's what we do all over the world. Americans is what we do.
Yeah, 850 bases. I didn't realize that.
God,
it's 850. Do you know what the craziest thing is? In second place, I think, is Russia or China with like 40.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's like nothing.
And then there's like the Brits with like 12. It's bananas. Crazy.
Which I mean, we can get into that. I personally believe we should pull everyone home. And a lot of people think that's crazy. I think we just need to stop missing it in foreign affairs. In the Federalist Papers, which is an amazing book. I recommend everybody to read it. Dude, I know like you're British or whatever, but I think with the founding fathers were British, basically. I mean, they were colonists, but like these guys, guys are like in like a crazy place of like thought that no one was connecting the pieces and putting it all together. Alexander Hamilton, who designed our financial system, the structure, was 21.
That's crazy, isn't it?
By the end of the war, he was like what, 27 or something. He's about my age, and you're like,
it's absolutely crazy how old these guys were.
Alexander Hamilton,
how young.
I know, dude. Like Thomas Jefferson was 33.
But doesn't that point to what we were saying about how, like what I said at the beginning of the show, about how nowadays a lot of our politicians, and especially in America, it has to be said, they're very old. They're very old.
Oh no, dude, they're like it's like a movie. It's like there's this old, like it's kind of like I hate to say this, I hate the movies personally. The new Star Wars movies, like the what's the Darth Sidious? I don't know his name. The bad guy, the main bad guy, the guy that gets thrown down by Darth Vader in the shaft. What's his name?
I don't know. I haven't seen that, dude. I hate the modern stuff. So I've only seen the first six.
Well, I'm talking the original. Like the one Darth Vader picks him up, he's like, and like
Luke Skywalker, Han Solo.
Okay, he's the main bad guy. Prince Palpatine.
Oh yeah, Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah, Emperor Palpatine. That's where our politics is at. That is where we're at. Yeah. He's just like, I have the ultimate power, and it's like, and then like, everyone's freaking out. And then there's the rebels and these people that are rising up, younger generation. They don't want to be, deal with these guys. And there's evil within all of us. We have to recognize that I would have probably been at my age, if I was growing up in Germany at the time, I probably would have been a Nazi guard. Like you probably would have. We all would have, because it was a proud thing. It was national. It was like, yeah, like we're doing the right thing. And anybody can become a monster. Anybody can do these awful things, whether it's police, whether it's government, whether it's, fathers do horrible things to their children, mothers, likewise, everybody. The Cub Scouts or the Boy Scouts of America just did an $850 million payout to over 10,000 people who were molested in Boy Scouts. So little boys for decades. They were hiding stuff. They were covering it up because they cared more about what? The institution than the people within it. And they're just like little pebbles, being thrown in a lake, and they're just connecting and rippling. And it's all the same thing. All these pebbles are the same. Our institutions have failed. They are not trustworthy. They are liars. They are manipulators. They are propagandists. They are trying to make us slaves. Drones to the system. The financial system has collapsed like every 10 years. How is this reasonable? How is this logical? This is absurd that we are trying to think we can continue doing this.
Yeah.
And they're the ones going, but we made it. It's us. Let us just ride it out, man. And we're like, your time is up. Here we are.
Yeah.
Welcome to the new world, baby. And this is what people have to remember. My opinion in the United States. It's now or never.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's got to be in the next couple of years or...
No, now, today.
Yeah.
Today, we all need to see. No, because like we're going to keep doing that to ourselves. Oh, a couple of years, this is how we got here. We kept saying a couple of years. I hope we elect a new government that's not crazy. They're all...
it's not going to be today.
Today. This is why we're here. This is why we're doing what we're doing. We have to put our input. We have to do things today. We have to stop sitting by, idly waiting for our hero to rise up when it's in us. I can be a monster, but I can also be a hero. And I can also choose my destiny and not to continue to give up my responsibility to someone like Tim Pool, who I like, or Tony Blair for the left, or whoever these guys are. Like, I am not giving that away anymore. I don't know the guy. I'm so honestly. Boris Johnson, right? Like, we're going to release you from your chains of bondage July 19th, peasants. You are more than welcome to gather in bars and restaurants now.
Oh, dude, it's worse now. I don't even want to... Dude, the Guardian this morning came out with the headline that was like, it basically said something like, how dare they tell us to take our masks off? I'm like, Jesus, it's been a year and a half. Like, what do you mean, how dare they tell you to take
Well,
off your
what's
mask?
another 10 fucking days or 15 days? What are you talking about? Do you know what that says?
Insane.
Do you know what that is? 2 weeks to slow the spread.
Yeah.
2 weeks. It's another 2 weeks. And so, like, just say, well, maybe in a couple of years. No, today. It's today. It's now. It's our time. I'm done. I'm done playing with these little monopoly power structured corporatists that just decide to say, well, I'm Bill Gates, and I believe the best way to slow population growth is by vaccinations. What the hell are you talking about? Like, it's like, they're open.
Just scary, man.
But this is great. Thank you. Thank you for telling me. Thank you, Nancy Pelosi, for
showing me.
Like, think about like January 6th. A couple hundred jerks attacked the institution when we had millions of people across the United States rioting all summer, burning things down, and it didn't matter. But once we stepped foot inside of your special little building, now it's over. Now I'm mad. You're a fake, disgusting monster of a person, and you can't even see it while you hide behind your religion of science or God or whatever it may be, of government. You're fake. You've lost the narrative. We're coming for you. We're taking your positions, and we're not going to stop until we win.
Disavow the coming for you part?
No, we're coming for you. And I mean, we're coming for your jobs. We're coming for your positions of power. And we're going to build something new. And that's our right as citizens of this country. It's our right as, I believe, the UK needs to hark back to the old days, to their roots of their nation.
I think the most important thing for people to do, is even if you don't want to do anything that takes loads of effort and time and money and whatever else, the most important thing that I would beg people to do is please, 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 please just start talking to other people, because you would not believe how many people. I know you look around yourself and you think that you're the only person that believes the way you do.
You're not.
You're not. Like, I promise you, probably 80% of the people around you, left, right, or center, feel roughly the same way that you do about things like our children, the economy, health, freedom, things like that. We didn't get where we've gotten to, over the last sort of 200-300 years combined as the two countries, by being soft and just letting people tell you what to think. We cannot keep doing this. It's insane. And I just think people have become institutionalized. Like, we have corrupt institutions now. We've seen it a lot in the last 6 months, especially. And people have become like they do if they're in prison for a long time. They feel like they cannot survive unless they have the institution there. Even if they feel like they're not relying on it, they really are. And the most important thing is that you start talking to people and tell them how you feel. You share how they feel, and you talk to them that we don't need the people that make up these institutions. I'm not saying some of the actual institutions themselves cannot ever exist, but there is a group of bureaucrats in the West, in all of the Western countries, Germany, the UK, the US.
Well, I think in the entire world. Look at Russia, China.
So do I, but especially in the petrodollar economy countries. We've just got this group of bureaucrats that don't seem to get a lot of good things done. They will never give you back something they've taken away. And they have just bred this mindset of institutionalization where people just feel like, oh, just keep my head down, keep drudging on, pay the bills. And then one day they're like, oh, I can't do this anymore. Oh, well, just keep my head down, pay the bills like a good donkey. Like, you can't do that anymore. It's so obvious now, like, how serious this is. I don't want to get too serious, but it is serious. And we need to sort this out. People need to start talking. Talk to your friends, your family members. And if you say something to them and they and you think, oh, crikey, they're really institutionalized, they don't believe a word I'm saying, find proof. Don't believe anything without proof. Go to them with the proof and say, look, here is this guy. Like, take Eric Weinstein. Here is this guy. He's left wing. He is terrified of what's going on with all this kind of wokeism, LGBTQ, forced on children, and all that sort of stuff. And he's the sort of guy that 3 years ago would have told you that you were full of ish. And now he is the one that's writing articles saying we need to sort this out before it's too late. So this is not some kind of right-wing conspiracy theory or anything like that. There are people on all sides that have seen what's going on. So show people proof. Gently help them. Yeah.
I agree, and I think something that's really important about talking to people, and is number one, in my opinion, is listening to them. Hear their issues, hear their problems, see the things that really matter to them. And you get to know, it's like, you can view them as your enemy. You can view them as whatever they are, but you still need to know what the other side is thinking, what other people are thinking.
Yeah.
And listening to people, actually actively engaging, listening. It's hard for someone like me, dude. I am a ranter, raver, defamer. I'm everything. I just rip. And I understand that. And it's something I've been working on myself. And I have another YouTube channel called Zoobox, and Zoobox Podcast. Come check us out. It's wild. Do not come in there. Do not come in there without your ID ready, okay? Because it's wild. Just saying, or at least be prepared to know that you should probably have an ID coming in here because it is a wild time. Don't listen with your kids, folks. It's something that I think we owe to ourselves. And, you know, like I talked about this woman before that I went on. You know, do you mind if I read some of the things that she was talking about from her perspective very quickly? Because she's from San Francisco. I'm not going to say her name because I don't know if she wants some of this stuff publicly out there. But she is I think, a brave person. And this shouldn't be brave, but it is. So like first she posted something about how Target is closing all 6 of its stores in San Francisco. Basically because in San Francisco, you can't even be arrested unless it's over like $1,000, $1,500 for theft. It's insane. You know, if Target had their own police force, a legit police force, and they could stop people, you know, maybe there would be something there. It's also, you know, they're advocating responsibility. So she's pointing out a couple people, you know, like from the right that she's been seeing, saying like, you know, the radical left always needs far rampant crime to destroy private industry so everyone was dependent upon them. You know, San Fran has always been the test bed for the left's most radical experiments. Like, you know, so I'm like, oh, where is this going? Is she about to talk crap about this guy? And she says there seems to be an impression among many conservatives that the left doesn't support and protect businesses, doesn't protect citizens from criminals, is trying to destabilize our social order / society. On this part about society, the right tends to critique branding white people as oppressors, recasting American history as rooted in evil, e.g., or example, renaming schools, undermining meritocracies, getting rid of advanced math in high school, like no more, like, you know, differing of the things. And for just the record, I was in dum-dum math. I took Algebra 101 A and B like for 2 years. I'm a dum-dum, so don't listen to me about math. You know, but that's the general idea. I don't want to go like, is it a long thread? I mean, we're going to spend the next 15 minutes, probably 10 minutes talking, reading about this. But she still is talking. She's like, there are early signals that politics are having a significant impact on the Bay Area, which is San Fran. 45% of businesses in SF are still closed. 45%.
Really?
SF / California exodus is real. So that's mass people leaving. Remote is here to stay in many parts because people don't want to go downtown. So like people don't want to even go to work because it's too dangerous to even go to work now. Like that's a really big issue. Yeah, so she's basically going like through a lot of things. She's like, you know, the cost of living is so high, but the crime rate is also so high. Like, what's the point of paying for this place if I can't even be safe? Yada, yada, yada. But the one thing that she says, I tweet because my heart is breaking what's happening in my hometown. This is not how an American city should look and feel. I feel like I'm on the brink of being red-pilled. How can I not when the policies are so aligned with the radical left? Amazing. And what I said,
freaking amazing.
I retweeted it and I said, I don't think most people on the right will try to make you change who you are or what you believe. We want to have open discussions and agree to disagree if it comes to it. At least that's my view. As a fellow countryman, I'm here for you, whether I agree with you or not. God bless America. You know, and I think this is, you know, I asked her to come on, you know, maybe someday. I think she's just a little overwhelmed right now. But local city council people, because she went viral. You know, it's like thousands of people started retweeting her because it's true. That people gravitate towards truth, 2 things, truth and hatred or lies. Like those things like magnify, you know, as Douglas Murray. I don't know if you've ever heard his magnification principle of how the media magnifies things. They will take like, you know, imagine a cop shoots someone in the back. Okay. It's in Arizona, so far away. I don't know about it. But then all of a sudden the media with they're like the Eye of Sauron. It's like, and it's like, oh my God. And everyone's like, we're all being murdered, bro. It's going down. Oh my. LeBron's like, they're hunting us. It's like, whoa, slow down. Okay. Maybe you just don't know. Like and then it leads to LeBron James retweeting an image of a police officer saying your accountability for you is next or something along those lines.
Because just said you're next.
Oh, accountability, you're next, or something to that effect, I believe. You're next, #accountability, as I believe what the statement was. But it was all because a young woman was going to stab another young woman, and they were both of African American or whatever. Doesn't matter if she's going to get stabbed in the toe. It's still life threatening. It could be. You know, you don't know.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, if you're gonna shoot someone, I mean, that guy had no time to think. Like, she was like there,
dude. It was like this.
He's like,
she
bang.
was like, he was like, boom. And honestly, for him, good shoot. It was a good shoot.
Yeah.
It was a good shot.
Yeah.
That's what police should do, right? But guess what? If everybody in that community had a gun, same thing would have happened. But we have to rely on police. That's the issue. That's my issue. If someone else had a gun and they were smart, they were trained, they were educated, I'm not responsible for their education. But I'm telling you, do you know how many gun crimes are stopped in the U.S. because of gun ownership? 3 million.
Wow.
Over 300,000 lives or 400,000 lives are saved a year due to defense gun use. But they don't talk about these things. Like, I'm telling you, it's so safe in America. People think the hood is dangerous. It is if you're not a part of their group, for sure, or you piss off the wrong person. But it's because they have no social hierarchy, no real order and structure to it, because people are constantly changing power, and like there's like a lot of people dying. It's chaos, and it's just no way to settle. And because there is no good guys saying outside their house with a gun, see what happens. See what happens. You want to come to my place. But anyway,
because they get arrested for having a gun.
Yes. Because all the good guys are all the people who could try to defend their communities. Do you know why how the Bloods and Crips got started?
Remind me.
Very loosely, they were there to protect from the police, because the police were harassing these people constantly. So they created their own local communities to defend themselves. And do you know what the CIA did? Introduce drug trafficking to give them more funding, to do all these things. Like, it was a psyop to create the illusion that these gangs, and it did eventually turn into that on mass scale. But we are the largest gun traffickers in the world as our federal agencies, largest human traffickers, largest drug traffickers. All of it is all from our government. We are the largest in the world. We were protecting opium fields in Iraq and Afghanistan. Like, come on.
Is that real? Is
That's
that real?
true.
I always
That's
heard
true.
that.
My buddy was smoking opium over there all the time. He's like, they were smoking weed, smoking opium. They'd be high on patrol, getting in gunfights. But anyway, that's like, I know we're kind of running short on time. We got a couple things we need to wrap this up, because we're going to be good. We're going to be disciplined, and we're going to be responsible, because I don't want YouTube to yell at me. No, I'm kidding. My last thought is freedom over everything. Freedom over everything. The only thing that I'm responsible for policing is myself and my family and my property. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've already said what I think my final thought would be, which is just try and listen. Dan wants everybody in the world to stand up today and to figuratively march on government today.
Figuratively, no, but like have your voice heard.
Right. But yeah. I will go the slightly gentler route, which is have a conversation with someone in your immediate friends, family, or community, because community is so much more important than anybody talks about. And it's what really, like, the state in any country doesn't really want you to have, because if you start kind of like dealing with your own things yourself, like, it doesn't have to be crimes, it could be like garbage or like whatever. They just don't like that. They want you to rely on them. So I would say friends, family, or a neighbor, just start having a gentle chat, like, whoa, crazy what Jen Psaki said the other day, wasn't it? And just see what they say.
Whoa, what do you think about them fucking chicks with dicks, man? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Not
something
yeah,
like that.
Yes.
And there could be a start to something much bigger, and do that with a few people.
By the way, I can't do accents. I apologize.
That was immense. I've never heard one better.
Okay, so the way we like, because we're gonna end on a lighter note, because we do get to some serious stuff, but we're gonna end on a lighter note of generation.
Yeah.
You know why? As for us, it's like I think there's a lot of different music tastes, so we're gonna name a couple artists we like and songs we like from those artists, and also a movie to recommend.
Every episode.
Listen, man, my view on music is very simple. If I feel like it's honest and there's integrity there, and that they actually believe, like there's, you know what I mean? If I feel like I believe what they're saying to me, I'm probably gonna like it. That's
See,
just who I am.
I'm quite I'm more of a like rhythm. Like if it to
All
me,
you
if it's
Europeans are, dude. All you guys are
yeah.
into that.
Oh, no, dude.
You know what
Listen,
dude? You go to a club in Europe, you know. Go to Germany,
yeah,
it's like
yeah. No, oh,
in
100%.
in
Well,
America, it's like just rap music with super loud bass. Like that's the
yeah,
clubs in
that's true.
America.
That's true. But yeah, I think if it sounds good, dude, I have the most eclectic taste in music I think of anyone I've ever met. So if we're going to be giving people a few choices of songs to listen to each episode, people will be like, wow, they'll never be able to figure out like one theme for me
Yeah.
because I like everything from almost every decade for the last 70 years.
I'm honestly forever. All the way to Mozart to now. There's people I love
Yeah,
today. You know, like it just doesn't to me it's if it's good, it's good. That's the way I
yeah.
view any art. If I think it's good to me and I'm like, hey, that's cool and I like it. You know, I think we get too caught up in the oh my God, you know, this guy is an amazing voice. Like I like Kurt Cobain. I like his voice. I like his voice. It's not amazing. You know,
Mhm.
you're not gonna sit there and be like, blah, blah, you know, but like you'll be like, yeah, dude, it's a good voice. Like it suits the style of the Pixies or whatever. You know, like I love
Yeah.
that. You know, but then you got Radiohead, you got Freddie Mercury, you got like all these amazing artists. It's just so good. I love Freddie. Dude,
So, dude, I have Freddie in my car right now.
oh, dude, so good.
Freaking love Queen.
Dude, love it. And I actually have a song that has the word, or a band that has the word Queen, and it's not Queen. I won't.
Queens of,
Uh, huh?
is it Queens of the Stone Age?
It's bottom dollar there, sir.
Yeah.
I try to give popular songs, like, so if people don't know who they are, like, so, like something that would be like different, you know. But I would be like, oh, you could listen to that and then just go deeper, you know,
Yeah.
like
I like
sticking your finger in the dam. It's like, ah, and you're just gone. You know, that's it. It's
Good.
okay. So why don't you go with your it's a song back and forth, right? You know, so you
Yeah,
could tell a
okay.
song, I say a song, and we'll just go back and forth.
So what I like about this is that I've gone completely all over the place for the first episode
Cool.
because I hope that some people will find these be like, wow, I've never even heard of that band. Because some of them are British and some of them are really old. So my first one is Jamiroquai, Virtual Insanity.
I know that band. I don't.
Virtual Insanity.
Oh, Jamiroquai. Why do I?
Jamiroquai. So it is Jmiroquai. And the
That's,
song is Virtual Insanity.
listen, I can't spell that, but I can spell virtual and insanity off my.
Look it up. You'll love it.
Jamiroquai. Okay, okay. My first one is old school guy Tom Waits,
Oh,
Old 55. One of my favorite
oh,
songs, and one of the first times I ever really like understood that song is literally after I left like a girl's house after banging her all night, and the sun was coming up, and I just remember that like happening, and it's like, oh my God, it's so great. It's a good song. I love it. So Tom
yeah.
Waits got a weird voice, unique. Just start there. That's all I'm gonna say. Start there. Don't go look to other places because you'll probably be turned off from it. Because he is, oh, the carpet needs a haircut. You know, and you're like, okay, dude, what's up?
Okay, so my second one is it's quite a new song actually. I think it was written and produced inside of COVID. It's another English band called Glass Animals, and the
Class.
song is Heat Waves.
Hmm.
And for any of you that play FIFA, it's a song that became really popular on FIFA because it's just a
Okay,
great song.
here we go. My second song is Sturgill Simpson. Remember to breathe. He made just really quickly. Netflix. He has an anime on there called Sound of Fury, and this is
Right.
they all recorded this for this and make this weird anime artsy thing. It's awesome. It's fun. And Remember to Breathe is such a nasty riff, bro. It's so nasty.
Yeah.
Just go check it out. Sturgill
Uh,
Simpson's awesome. It's awesome.
I will send me this list, dude. Send me this list at the
Okay.
end. My third song. This is a little risky because this comes
I
from
like it.
my favorite childhood film, an American film, The Dirt Bike Kid. It's about a kid that his mom gives him his last $50. I actually think this kid was in like a really old Christmas film. I think I heard Sean Zubox talking about before.
A Christmas Story.
He's what is his name? John Billingsley or Peter Billingsley? Blonde hair, blue eyes. You recognize
Yeah,
him. Anyway.
I think that's the Christmas Story. Yeah.
Yeah. So she gives him the last $50 and he buys a dirt bike instead. The dirt bike's magical. It can fly. Crazy shit. But when you're a kid, you love that stuff. The song, which is like just this amazing, like 80s kind of feel good. It's such a good song. So it's very hard to find. But it's Bill Bowers. So Bill, Bowers. And it's called Standing on the Edge of Love.
Standing on the edge of love. I like that. Kind of gives me, I don't know why, like a Meatloaf vibe. I don't know why. Standing on the edge of love. I just like it.
Yeah.
No, obviously just the title. Just the title,
Yeah.
Okay. Last song for me is Queens of the Stone Age, and these guys are like they're awesome. They're like all into guns, and they're from Arizona in the desert. They're just Americans.
Yeah, great band.
I like them. No One Knows. It's a classic song from them. Everyone, no one knows. Just type in no.
Such a good song.
It's just it's literally, it's great. They have so much good music that it's hard to pick. But if you just want to, like I said, to dip your toe in the water, and then you're gonna dive right in because I think a lot of people they're a cool band. They're fucking groovy, man.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm gonna do another 2. I was just gonna do the 3, but I had so many.
Listen,
so many.
Break
songs.
the rules, dude. Break the rules.
That's what they're there for. Okay, so my 4th song is by The Outfield, and it's called Your Love. And The Outfield is, I think they're, I want to say Scottish, maybe. I don't know. But it's an 80s band. I think they were like a one-hit wonder. It's just another brilliant like 80s feel-good song.
Sure.
Great rhythm guitar. Oh, sweet. And then my 5th song. Oh man, this is so much fire. I was tempted to call the Fire Brigade. Anyway, I was thinking like, is that what it's called in America? I don't know.
We call it fire department. Yeah.
There you go. I was tempted to call the fire department. I'm telling you now, everybody that watches this, however many people watch this, if you listen to this song, I 100% guarantee you will come back and you will put a comment and you'll be like, dude, that song was freaking amazing.
Okay.
It's by a rap artist called Jeru the Damager. And the song...
J-R-R-U?
It's Jeru. And the Damager is spelled Damaja.
Damaja.
The Damager. And the song is Ain't the Devil Happy?
Ain't the devil happy or make the devil
Ain't the devil happy?
You like rap? You like weird rap? Like cool rap? Like diss some stuff?
Dude,
you ever heard that Handsome Devil?
No.
It's called polka rap. It's crazy. Okay. It's awesome. Well, anyway.
We can do more of that. But yeah, so I had this on LP from my older brother, because he used to have decks and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, to be fair, my older brother introduced me to the song, and it must be 30 years old now, but it's just freaking amazing, and it was so ahead of its time when it came out. Amazing song. So
just to clarify, my older brother basically, as far as my taste in music, 100% influenced, like 99% influenced by him. Like honestly, like, okay, yeah, Sean, 90%, 90. I'm gonna give him 90 because I love old school dirty blues like way more than him, or like that old school stuff. Like so I will give that to me. But a lot of like Nirvana, Soundgarden, all those 90s bands, like I grew up listening because of him. So
why don't you show everyone your guitar?
Oh, my guitar, dude. Yeah, man. This is my baby.
Tell me that hole in that there guitar.
Yeah. And that hole. Yeah, and that's just from friction, just from wearing and tear. But actually, I don't do covers. So if anybody, you can go to my Zoobox. I just posted a video. Like I do a lot of different songs, but I don't do covers, and it's because this meaning that is on this guitar. It says, you can't stand on the shoulders of giants and call yourself a big man. So that's why I don't do covers.
That is the quote of the show.
There we go. So last thing we're going to do, because we are a little running over time, but is a movie suggestion of the week.
And I thought I would also slightly change it up and give a couple of YouTuber suggestions of the week.
Okay, go ahead, throw them out there. I don't
Okay,
have
so
any right this second, so.
No, that's cool. Well, you do movie, and I'll do
Yeah.
YouTuber.
Okay, cool, perfect.
So, my YouTuber recommendation, my first one, is a lady from Connecticut, and her name is, well, her screen name is Gothix, and she is very much like we are. My son loves her. She's freaking amazing. She's very open-minded, and she's really sensible. Like in an age of, where a lot of time.
Can we just say something?
Yeah.
I just want to say he didn't bring up what she looked like. He didn't bring up anything about her, and that just says everything how far we've evolved as society. Just a little snippet. You weren't like you didn't have to describe her. You're like, she's just cool. Go check her out, man. She's cool people, and I that's a good thing.
Oh yeah, she's punk. She's got punky vampire-y, but
she's cool. Like she's not
she's so cool, man.
She's not a drone.
And she's what we need. Like, everything she puts out, I'm like, yes. Yep. So
who else?
Yeah, hit me with a movie, my brother.
Oh, hit you with a movie? Okay. My favorite movie of all time. I'm gonna start. This is my number one movie. So nothing will ever match this for me, as of now. I'm not gonna say forever because there is no such thing, right? I could find something. Paul Thomas Anderson's The Master. That's my favorite film. It stars Joaquin Phoenix, Amy Adams, Philip Seymour Hoffman, one of his last films. It is, I mean, it is, in my opinion, one of the finest movies ever made. It's not the choreography. What's the composer of the film for the music is Johnny Greenwood from one of my favorite bands. The guitars for Radiohead. Super cool music, man. Super weird and zany. Amazing.
How old is it?
2015, 13, 15, somewhere in there. Like 2015.
Just before his death.
Yeah, it was one of Philip Seymour Hoffman's like last movies, probably his last 3 or 4 movies.
Right. I'm so gonna watch that.
It's his best. The only movie I would say rival is performance-wise is Capote. Like so, Truman, the movie Truman Capote.
Great film. Great film.
He is. It might be better.
Truman.
Yeah, but he might be better.
Truman
Capote. Yeah, Capote.
Right. He is that guy.
Yeah.
It's so hard to tell the difference.
I'm telling you, just go. I'm gonna have a beer, sit down, and just watch and put your phone down. It's not an action movie, okay? It is a drama, but it is so good. It is so fucking
good. Okay.
Everyone's fantastic. Okay.
I'm gonna watch that tonight. And then another YouTube person I was gonna recommend. Comedian. He comes from the land of maple syrup and the Trudeau crime dynasty.
Brian Long.
Yes. Very funny gentleman. And another, in my opinion, rational and sane voice needed in this time. And I think he's a funny dude. I don't know what you think. You must
just watch what was it? What was this, like woke versus conservative or woke versus racist or something? He did something like that was his first huge one.
That was exactly it.
Yeah, like woke versus racist, and like they're the same people. They're literally the same people. Like they advocate for the same exact stuff, and that's what art is supposed to be. I'm not going to try to define art because I think that's impossible. But at least a big chunk of art should be just like, look how ridiculous we are as people. Like are we really like this stupid? And that's what comedy is, pointing out the similarities and the differences and being like, ha 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 ha. Like it's okay. But then again, when you're like woke versus racist, type that in. Ryan Long, woke versus racist, and you will laugh. I don't care where you are on the spectrum. You should be able to laugh at yourself, even if you're woke. And be like,
it's super funny.
It's good. It's great.
It's so funny when they say the same things at the same time.
Yes.
People of a single color should live in the same state.
Yeah. And then what does he say? He goes, Jews aren't white people or something. And he was like, oh, we can agree on that. It's awful. It's awful. You're like, that is so great, dude. I don't believe white people and black people should get I don't believe that either. Like, wow. It's so bad. It's so great. So good. So bad. So all these things. It's great. I highly recommend everyone checking it out. I guess, well, that's going to do it for us, right? I think we're good for the first episode in the books of Generation Y. My closing comments are thank you for coming. If you're here, probably just going to be family and friends at first. which is fine. Please, hey, if you think there's like-minded people, and if you don't think there are people who are ready to hear this conversation, share it with people that you think might be open to it, and that they might be willing to have these rational thoughts and everything. But it's been great. Mark, thank you for, reaching out. He's been a fan of Zoobox. Go check out Zoobox podcast, please. My brothers and my cousin, we're all on there. We have fun. It's wild. Listen, if you want to go to this is where we come to try to make sense of things. Zoobox is where there is no sense of anything. It's just nonsense. It's just a mess, and it's fun.
A lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
And if you want to see brothers bitch at each other for 2 to 4 hours, sometimes we do. So It's fun.
Good dudes, man. It's a great channel. It's a great channel.
Well, and that's how we met. Why we're here. Why is because of your ability to be on YouTube, and this is why we need to try to save this as much as we can.
Yeah. Definitely. And then, I guess my closing statement is pretty much what it was before. Have a conversation with a couple of people that you wouldn't normally have a conversation with. Just bring up anything that has kind of been on your mind, but you're worried that those people might not completely agree with you. Bring it up, see what they have to say. I know these things sound obvious, but it's kind of like those self-help books. Everybody knows that the key to getting rich is working hard and being really risky, but it's just about someone kind of giving you a gentle shove. So this is my love-filled, gentle shove to you. Have some conversations with some people close to you, and we don't want to leave it too late.
Right.
Thank you for coming. And if you liked it, leave a like. And if you disagree with anything that we said, please put your case across in the comments. Be interesting to see what people's opinions are on some of the things that we talked about.
Well, that'll be great. I hope everyone has a good day, and we'll be hearing from you soon.
Winston stopped writing, partly because he was suffering from cramp. He did not know what had made him pour out this stream of rubbish